Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I'm your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and let's just jump right into what we've got to talk about today. Because I was gone for yesterday, trying to do all the work I can to heal my respiratory symptoms from the air mass of these fires that are starting to move in. On the backside of this front right here, let's take a look at, let me silence all my devices while we're on live television. It's funny to call a YouTube show that no one's paying you to do or watching live television, but I'm calling it live television. Okay. So we saw this cold front sweep through the eastern United States, but still not quite enough. You can't freeze the fires, unfortunately. All it can do is dry out the air and dry out the soil, which not great for the fires. Speaking of not great for the fires, let's take a look at the wind. Not as bad as yesterday, but let's see if we can march back to yesterday. Yeah. Let's take a look at February 27th. Watch this. Let's watch this wind whip through here. So the fires really started on the 25th. And as we march through here, we see from yesterday all the way into today, we got that it might be better if I showed this with temperatures, but no, let's just go ahead and look at it with wind speeds. Here we can see there's sustained wind speeds around 30 miles an hour throughout the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. And that really contributed to a lot of the wildfire spread that we've seen so far and what made it so hard to contain them. We also saw, look at this line of wind coming down here from the, in the northern plains. That made a really funky angle with the air mass over here to the east that resulted in a big swath of, tornadoes and strong supercells forming throughout the evening hours from Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas into Iowa and Illinois. This is going really slow. It's going really slow. I love that I picked this one. But you can kind of see, like, throughout the entire day, the wind direction did not move for these storms. Or for these fires, rather. You can see the storms of, like, the very southerly and very easterly winds, like, from the north and from the west towards the south and east, starting to swirl up that nice angle of interaction that you need to spawn those tornadoes. But that didn't help much with the fire, because on the back end of this front was just continued sustained almost straight line winds all the way from over here, really. And as soon as we got a change in the wind direction yesterday around 8:30, which was the time when we started seeing all these tornadoes form up here near Chicago, they finally got a wind direction shift, but now it was coming from, we had wind coming from the north. So where all these fires had made like parallel lines, and from blowing in this direction, now all of those lines got a big whoosh from the north and could evenly, flatly, like there was a square angle. There was a right angle, 90 degrees between the wind directions that they started flaring with and the wind directions they ended up flaring with. So that's like dragging your paint out. If your paintbrush is a wildfire, that's like dragging out a long stream of paint and then smooshing all of it across the paper. And you know what I'm saying in that metaphor. Then the rest of that line of strong wind change swept through with some storms, finally meeting up with some moisture once it got to the Gulf of Mexico to result in a nice line of convergent cold front type storms throughout the East Coast today, overnight last night and into the day today. Let's see. Let's go to march along to, yeah. So this really resulted in a lot of wind. So this is the same storm that was tornadoes at the front and big snowstorms at the end up here in Wisconsin. Let's see if I can go back to that. Let's go back into our overnight hours, because in the overnight hours, really, this is when we saw the severe storms hit, like the Memphis to Louisville to Cincinnati and Columbus area. The Ohio River Valley region got like look at how gnarly this storm looks. Remember that this spawned several confirmed tornadoes just west of Chicago earlier in the night. Like, see if we can go back to like 8 or 9 p.m. Yeah, this what hit Chicago yesterday at like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. There were 5 different confirmed tornadoes at one point in the night that the National Weather Service was monitoring. But look right behind it, giant swath of snow. And that did not let up as we, I mean, it wasn't like unrelenting snow, not like blizzardy snow. But that's not where I told you to start from. Okay. Well, anyway, this isn't really cooperating with me right now, but we saw a lot of snow piling up. Look at this, is clearly lake effect snow right here on the back end of it. There's no more moisture getting fed in from the front, which is what the Northeast is getting, and the coastal mid-Atlantic region is getting that currently. Some really nice moisture from the Atlantic and from the Gulf of Mexico swirling up into that region of active weather. There was just a lot of convective available potential energy or CAPE ready to be used up into storm. There was a lot of cake batter around and we just had to make cakes. What am I saying? Unfortunately, that does not mean that there's been any rain whatsoever to help control some of these wildfires. There's been quite a bit of that. Now there's a wildfire here in Colorado as well, and somewhat contained one here in Nebraska. But unfortunately, not looking like much in the way of help from the rain gods for the fire situation here. This is a nice visual of a convergent zone of the uplift that happens when the two air masses meet going slightly different directions. Then they go storm relative. They travel with the arc of the storm, but right at the beginning, they're coming from basically opposite directions. This is where, like, the south tip of this is where the storms are born, and then they merge up and meet up into these big, heavier rainstorms. We did have some nice rain sweep throughout the southeast today, so that was nice for those who wanted precipitation. Let's go look at our actual real-time precipitation analysis right now, actually. Let's see. I'd be interested to see who got both snow and rain, but I don't know if this has observation for that. I think honestly, let's look at the GIF of the temperatures, because that's where you can really see. You see up here on the Nova Scotia up here in Canada, they've got that nice right angle, that nice like shape. That's what didn't cause, but that's what was at play here with tornado situation. So we had 70s in the morning, followed by like 20, 19 degrees in the evening. This big, sharp change was what resulted in the severe weather throughout that area. But then as it spread throughout, I mean, there was a more enhanced risk down here, but it looks like the actual play that happened was up near Chicago when it came to the and guys, this is February tornadoes, fun stuff. um you know, let me not waste time sitting here explaining how all this works. Also, can we take notice we've had the first 100-degree day in the continental United States here earlier in the week in southern Texas. So I'm kind of surprised the wildfires aren't down there, but that the more southerly regions of Texas have had a good amount of rain. It's up here that I feel like we've dried out quite. There was deep freezes without a whole lot of snow. And that really dry out the landscape as well. So looks like we're setting up also for forecast. I'm forecasting that forecasters will forecast a blizzard in the western states coming up in the beginning few weeks of March. This was an area of activity that forecasters were really excited about like 9 days out, and it kind of fizzled. I mean, it had an awesome drama of tornadoes right next to Chicago, and followed by really heavy snow, followed by like a 40-degree drops in temperature. Look how steep that temperature gradient is. That's really fun and or exciting for forecasters, but it's not exactly what they had hoped for. But we're looking at about the same timeout that they got excited about this round of storms is where we're looking at about 8 or 9 days from now. Forecasters are getting excited about even more storms coming through the United States. So let's go ahead and take a look at our observed precipitation in the past 24 hours. You can see the lines of storms and where they ended up forming and traveling along. Look at the 3-day precip analysis. Still having quite a wet one up here in the Pacific Northwest. I want to look at snowfall. Let's see if we got any of the good snowfall out of this. Yeah, mostly a Michigan, Wisconsin thing. Some lake effect type things just to like due east of Lake Superior and Lake Canada. Is that Lake Canada? I don't remember what their names are. Lake Erie and Lake other one. I'll remember them one day if I visit there. I know this is Erie, scary because it's near Ohio. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see what hazards we've got right now. Let's take a look at our National Weather Service hazards. Okay, so red flag warning. That means we're looking out for wildfires to spawn now in this exact area that gave birth to the tornadoes yesterday. We're also having a wind advisory throughout much of the area that just had that cold front pass through. Not seeing new red flag warnings for Texas, but they've got enough fire on their hands. We're looking at winter weather and high wind advisories over here in the western, up in the upper elevations of California. We're looking at a blizzard warning right now. Pretty much it's already beginning, this blizzard situation. So let's actually look at this on the goes live, because that seems to load better. Actually, I don't want east, I want west. So let's go to west. Did they take away my microwave? Oh no, micro. Sorry. Did they take away my microwave? And other sentences I say about the National Oceanics and Aeronautics Administration. Okay, so we are starting to get the blizzard warning effect in the upper elevations of California and the northern Sierras. The daytime index 6 means thin high level clouds, and in the nighttime index we've got these nice purple throughout there, so high thin ice clouds. They're looking at really stratospheric stuff, but all this swirling cumulus coming and the splashing on shore of all of this moisture is no doubt supposed to combine throughout the nighttime hours and result in a lot of snowfall. Let's see. Yeah. Let's look. Are there any thick high level clouds? Yeah, all over the place, thick high level clouds. Who's 3? Who's green? Warm air mass meeting with cold air mass 2. 2 and 3, green and blue, meeting together. That's warm and cool air masses starting to spawn up these storms. And you can really see the clouds, the high, thick air masses forming right there. Jet stream potential vorticity and deformation zones and dry upper level in the red. That's the big circulation driver up here. Let's see. I want to look at derived winds. All right. Let's take a look at our derived winds here. So then we can see that at the surface level, we're really coming towards California. But as we get into the upper levels, we've got a little bit of backing up. The winds are kind of the winds are changing as they go aloft. Why aren't my words coming very well? I tried really hard to get my words to come well today, and they just didn't. Look at this little interesting spin-off eddy right here going into Arizona. I wonder what all this is about. Looks to be some sort of like breakaway cyclonic action coming from the Gulf of California or the Baja Coast. Really interesting. That is what I want to, that's something I want to keep an eye on. What the heck is this little guy doing over here? This random little soap scum floating in the pool. This all makes sense. This looks like stuff that's supposed to happen. Winds below on the lower level, perpendicular with the direction of the frontal movement, like with the propagation of the larger air mass, and then winds along the air mass aloft, making more sense, makes more and more sense. This little guy right here, I don't know how it has so much energy to make it over those mountains. That's a really high elevation. How do you have so much strong circulation? I don't get that. Somebody tell me more about this, because it's just so weird. Anyway, we're under blizzard warnings for the upper elevations of California. So let's hold our breath for some good snowpack levels from them. I think honestly, they're not hurting for rainfall at this point. Let's see. Can this tell me anything about this little guy? It's got like a nicely defined, I mean, it looked like it had an eye wall there. Can we go, let's go 48 hours. See if that shows where this comes from. Just spinning around here. Just spinning around, trying to form itself into something. That's really weird. Okay. Let's see out in 96 hours. Yeah. Okay, it starts out as this little low circulation, and it just all of a sudden spins itself up into a fury. That's a really interesting formation right there. I mean, it looks like this is like the comma head of this big swath, so probably getting all of this extra, like getting this tropical air into there. But man, that is just a fascinating little blip. I mean, all this other stuff can be pretty well put into place of how air moves. I'm just like, this I don't, I like, I get it, but I don't quite get it. I don't know. Okay. I'll be really interested to see how this develops. Okay, so I got distracted about this little side artifact right here in the in Arizona. I still haven't been out there, but I've heard it's lovely. I've heard they've got a lot of great like energy spots, a lot of magnetic spots that and electromagnetic spots supposed to be quite active. So I'd be interested to see what all that's about. Okay, let me go ahead and go to something I meant to show instead of getting distracted. Let's go back to Zoom Earth and see our global weather. Also, sorry if you can hear somebody talking in the background. I don't know if it shows up on stream or if I can just hear it because I'm listening to the feedback from my microphone, and it's like a really good quality microphone, and it all gets sorted out at the end, but I don't know. Oh no, I wanted to take a look at the GOES fire detection band. But let's zoom out and take a look at the entire picture first. And then we'll go back to the fire detection band. Okay, this is the system that is moving through that we're expecting to be causing those blizzard warnings in California. This is interesting light rain. I mean, I guess this is typical desert rainy season rain. We've got cute little moderate low circulating off the coast, south coast of Korea and Japan, getting fed by water from over China. And we've got some heavy rain systems all along the equator that tracks. There's also been a lot of earthquake activity here, an evenly spread amount of earthquake activity, pretty much where the rain is right here. Here, we're missing some in the Kyrgyzstan region, but here and actually in the Adriatic Sea between Italy and Greece, and then ricocheting on up into the Pole region. Also looking at some pretty significant risk of rain and snow coming towards the United Kingdom. So keep an eye on that. But let me go back to the reason that I meant to go to GOES in the first place, which was to look at the fire detection band. Fire temperature, RGB. All right. So I don't know. Okay, I want to talk directly into the front of the microphone, and like when I do the top, it's not worse. But like when I do the back, I'm on a cardioid curve cancellation pattern, so it's trying its best to do something. I don't know. Okay, not showing much. Can we go to 48 hours? This isn't showing me what I want in Texas. No, they ain't doing much. They ain't doing the right thing. Warm fire, hot fire, very warm fire, very cold fire, ice clouds, water cloud. That's not helping. Sorry, GOES. You let me down today. Uh, instead of goes ahead and uh let's look at the daily movies for today. Let's see. No, okay, I can only go for yesterday. Let's see what kind of SDO movies we got. I like to look at the colorized magnetic field. Oh, yeah. Look at that baby. Swirly, twirly gumdrops, looking like some shelf mushrooms. Just really, this was the line that it kept spitting out. This main glob spat out these other globs. And then this one's getting a little less well defined, but there's still a lot of percolation happening underneath. And then we've got this like hot longitude rotating into the Earth strike zone. You can see on this map why I keep calling these like likening them to uh convection bubbling on top of boiling water. This is like the result of convective heating. It's really clear that you can see the patterns that you would see when you're watching a pot boil. And if you've never watched a pot boil, don't listen to anybody who tells you you can't. Because if you don't know how to watch a pot boil, if you've never seen it, that just means you don't know how to look for it. You just don't have the patience. Also, speaking of looking for it, let's look at these lining up into a nice convergent like pile. These seem to be spreading their charges pretty quickly. I wonder if we've reclassified this from an alpha region to a beta gamma region. I'm still learning my terminology for sunspot regions, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a learning experience. This is a learning channel. This is not the learning channel. This is a channel on which I learn by studying the sun with you guys. Um, let's go. Let's just go ahead and jump to the Solar Dynamics Observatory, or from Solar Dynamics Observatory to Space Weather Live to see. Yeah, ooh, look at that. 3 different coronal mass ejections today with chances of partial halos. Can we see the one? This is the one we didn't get to watch the other day. This is the 25th one that we never got to see, um, at 290 degrees away from the sun again. Yeah. Oh, those look like beautiful interacting pool regions. Look at that. That was a nice big hunk of ejecta. Look at this big glob. Big, big go. That's like a big Bertha ejection. So that's what we had on the 25th the other day. That was kind of kicked off our era of increased activity from coronal mass ejections again. Yesterday, the 27th, we had about 5, none looking too long, except for this one that was 5 seconds long. Um, that's decent. Oh, and then let's look at what it set off though, because that is right before. Um, let's see. Oh no, we're not gonna see. We're not gonna see the part that I wanted to see. That's fine. That's fine. Uh, is it this one maybe? No. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look at the 28th. Yeah, that is what I wanted to see. And this, oh man, this is going to be 3 back to back that are really good. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this one we're seeing the chart for just this half. That seems to be a really well spread and defined to like 1500. Okay, and then let's look at the next one. Uh I mean that one's just so gorgeous. I love that. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This was more to the south. This was more of like a downward region. So we've got one in that direction, one in that direction. Let's see which direction this one takes. Looks like a completely different trajectory. Yeah, that's like basically on the other side of I think it's the eastern limb. Whoa. Big, big, big ejections today. Let's see if that has had any. I mean, and this one's really fast, but not well sustained. This one that's 7, that could have been a big one. Okay, that one's just really fast, not sustained. Let's go to the solar activity, though. What has this meant for our solar activity? Ooh, I think 3595 is the one. Guys, I'm getting better at identifying the sunspot group shapes because this is the one where I was like, I wonder if that's a beta gamma type now. When we were looking at the colorized magnetogram, as the one that I said, 3595. Oh shit. I got so excited I ripped my headphones out of my microphone. I'm just so freaking excited that I got this right. Okay. Y'all, if you send me to space weather school, I swear I'll be better. But for now, I'm doing the space weather school of life, which is just look at the space weather every single day and notice stuff. 3595 is now classified as a beta gamma type region. This is still a beta gamma delta type region, 3590. We got a bit of a coronal hole developing here on the south. Had a little bit more active flareage today. Let's take a look at our solar flares. Solar flares past 3 days. Okay, so we did finally get an M-class flare today, and that was around 1840. That was shortly after the mass ejection, but I don't think the mass ejection would have gotten here that fast, but the X-rays associated with it could have, if there was some X-rays with that burst. And as we zoom out, let me move my mouse away. You see how it looks like we're moving up and up and up and expanding just a little bit? I feel like we got this big low plunge as detected by GOES 18 in order to ramp us up for the next big X-class flare. So I think something else big is coming at the beginning of March. And that's pretty much the story for all of this, is currently ramping up. Things are a little enhanced now, but they're nowhere near where they're going to be. So let's see if they've modeled that most recent flare yet, or that most recent mass ejection. No, none of them. Okay. I haven't been, they had that a little bit, but not really showing us. I mean, Parker spirals look pretty fast, but not going to look at that. Let's go ahead and look at let's look at GOES to see the classifications for all of these sun area types. All right. The thematic map is what's showing us all the different types of regions on the sun. We got a filament here between 3590 rotating away and 3595 getting started with its activity. Not too many, nothing. I mean, this is technically classed as a coronal hole right here, but it's taking a lot of it to show up. Got some prominences all over the edge here, which we'll take a look at on the, let's take a look at you can see those on just this, image. Let's look at it in motion. Let's look at some of these in motion. If I want to see coronal mass ejections, I'm going to take a look at AIA 304 and look at it in high cadence imagery. Thank you, Space Weather Live, for having this on your channel, on your website. Should I have a website? Should this website host all the other things? Let me know. All right, so we're watching this. I want to see if we can recognize when any of these come. Also, look at the prominences up here showing our really cool coronal atmosphere. the corona of the sun is like its atmosphere, and you can see weather systems, little tornadoes and cyclones and rain events happening within it. There's one ejection. That was the one from up here. Anything? Oh, that's a bit of a flare, but lots of connections happening. Seeing a few dark elements fly. Not too much discernible filament launching. There was mass ejection, but there wasn't much filament launching. But there was that like little S-shaped thing, quite a few nodes, like connections between the sunspot groups as if they're nodes showed up. So I want to see this on the multiple. Yeah, like that arcing. And then we're going to see some arcing down here too, within and between these holes. This looks like, okay, this looks like it wants to stir up some trouble right before it rotates away from facing the Earth. It's like as soon as these active sunspot regions get away from facing the Earth, they get worked up again. But there's also looking like something arcing to the, let's look at this one, because it looks like there's something rotating onto the Earth facing disk soon that looks pretty active too. Yeah, you can see it. This area is going to be something. This is trying to do something on its way out. This area is going to be something very active, and up here too. But right now we're looking at mostly these are, let's see what the dimming looked like. Let's see what the dimming looked like for these coronal holes. Like, where did this coronal hole come out of? Where did this come from? You can see some connection within each of the, yeah, there we go. Okay, as soon as something got unleashed there was a little bit, it's ready to darken up. And remember, that'll give us faster solar wind. So I think that, yeah, look at these. As soon as they arc and spark, they have the opportunity to really darken up here. More gaseous ejections. Sun farts. Look out for sun farts. Actually, look down here. This looks like a wave. Looks like a wave rolling through that. This last bit. Right here. Yeah. Yeah, now that's spreading. Okay. Something's going to happen. Well, that's what already happened. Something else is going to happen, but let's take a look at, I'm just going back and forth all over the place here. Let's take a look at any news from the Rearcast Peninsula today. Increased likelihood of volcanic eruption on the Rearcast Peninsula. Warning signs of volcanic activity can be very short. Is this new? Is this new or is this old? What are you talking about? Okay. Earthquakes in the last 4 hours have been to the north. So if we're expecting the seesaw that I've been seeing, that I've been thinking and noticing about this, that we had like seesaw energy from one side of the peninsula to the other side of the peninsula, then I would expect it to swing back to the other side of the peninsula soon, and then find its troublemaking spot up here in the area of closer monitoring. Now, this, I believe, is a different. Wonder what's right there. Let's look at their. If I look at the entire ridge, well, they might be seesawing back out into the water, but we are seeing an increase in earthquakes overall from most of it. Let's look at, yeah, I mean, They're popping up in their own active zones. Let's see. Earthquakes, all regions, really looking like it is increasing. It is increasing in activity down here on this Reykjanes Peninsula, but they're still not warning for anything yet. Still not technically. Like, what's the latest? Why is this the thing they link to? Is there any notifications? Yeah, no, we're not in any volcanic. We're not under any volcanic alerts right now, but what do they have any news? No. No more news and alerts. Early next week is the last thing that they came out with, and we've already been over this update. This is a new hazard map, though. I think this is a new hazard map where they've got zone 3 in a red now because we've reached that floor threshold of how much can inflate before eruption. So from that, let's go ahead and take a look at our volcanic activity globally. Still in the same number of erupting and dormant volcanoes. Let's see. Why are they selling drone pilots on Timo? Can I buy my own military on T? What is that? What is that advertising? Oh yeah, they want me to like use McAfee to hide my browsing from wanting cedar planks in my closet and some sort of solar chess playing drone. I don't even what do you think, internet? What do you think I want with these things? I don't know why that's what I forever spin, a top that spins forever. I think this is what happens when you don't engage in the consumption algorithm enough. They just throw anything out there. Like, I'm not buying enough crap, and they just want to see if I will be a sucker and buy any crap. Let's see if I can get a Popo webcam up. Nope. Nope. Not for me. Not for me. I'm not allowed to look at cool webcam volcanoes. Volcano webcams. Let's see if I can get. Nope. I don't even know what. What do you think I want? What even do you think I want? Let's look at. Sometimes I like this. I like this website better for earthquakes than for volcanoes, to tell you the truth. Let's go to 5.5 in the Aleutians, West Alaska, USA. 4 quakes above a magnitude 5, 27 between a 4 and a 5. I think this is around where Dutch Sense forecast 4.1. Oh, this is where we had the 5.5 in the Aleutians. We had some larger ones here from Fiji, spanning all the way into New Zealand, and down here in the Macquarie Islands. I don't want to know what goes on down here, you know? It's just like kind of weird, suspicious stuff. Australia, what are you hiding? Okay. 4.8 in northern Sumatra, several here in the northern Philippines, so I can't even get a good click on any of them, but it looks like there were a couple, one of a 5.4 and one of 4.9, had a lot of 4.5 to 5 range earthquakes in the last 48 hours in the Western Pacific, and also throughout the like Eastern Asia, Central Asia mountain range regions from Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan to Kyrgyzstan to Xinjiang down to Tajikistan and in Afghanistan. One here in northeastern Iran, of 3.9 here in Turkey. We also had them going around either side of Europe, one in the Baltic states, Belarus, Northwest Russia region, one here in Poland, several here around Greece, one here in the Strait of Gibraltar. And then there was one up here reported 2 days ago. We also, after the Idaho earthquake 2 days ago, had another one in Smiths Ferry, Idaho, another one in Northern California, and then several in Southern California. But fortunately, for once, the quakes have calmed themselves down in Texas and Oklahoma. I guess they can only take one natural disaster at a time, and they wanted to slow their freaking quakes down while there's wildfires happening, which is pretty smart. Mexico, quakes stretching from Puerto Vallarta all the way down to El Sur, down into El Salvador, all of these being in the 3.6 to 7 range, and then stretching into Colombia and down into Argentina, Peru, Argentina, and Chile, having continued elevated activity, but none in the big range. We're looking, okay, yeah, we had like 4.6 and 4.7 down there, but all of our 5s happened like on the Aleutians and in the Western Pacific area. These M5s, M4s, those are all registering as, I mean, down here towards from Antarctica to the Arctic. So lots of earthquakes. Yeah, earthquakes, yes. Let's see, latest volcanoes today. Any cool photos? Any good stuff from Samiru, Merapi, and Fuego? Okay, let's see. This says, okay, here's the update. So it was an updated hazard map. It just didn't change the date. Here's a map of the earthquakes occurring underneath the Svartsengi Thorbjorn area over the past week. So it looks like there have been a lot more happening between Hagafell and Slingerfell. This is the Sunukas crater area where both the December and February eruptions took place, right on the other side of the mountain from the Blue Lagoon and the Svartsengi power plant. So they are shifting everybody back up to that considerable risk, except for zone 7 and the middle zone being up into a high risk. So we're waiting. The limit is expected to be reached in upcoming hours. Seismic activity has been most significant in the Slingerfell area. Yeah. Oh, this is a good picture of Lewitolo. That's the one, remember, weeks and months ago that I talked about. They actually did let the people who live here perform their cultural rites of how they acknowledge and appease the volcano before they made them evacuate. So that's really good. I think a lot of people's lives have been saved by that evacuation. Kanaga volcano, seen from a webcam. Erupting, here's Popo erupting, as seen during the flight in Bogota, Mexico. This is another shot of Popo. You can see it raining down its own ash and tephra. Remember, tephra is that it's like the cotton candy of lava. It's like that spun sugar of lava. Here's a good one of Santiaguito. Nice. So looking pretty standard, except for every day that goes by, they are bumping up the risk level in Reykjanes. We're just looking at that any day now, I think. And speaking of any day now, let's take a look at when I was thinking this might happen, which was to look at these planets. I think that we might see activity from Reykjanes volcano either when the moon is in Sagittarius and squaring the Saturn, Sun, and Mercury conjunction, or once the moon moves through to make another conjunction with the planets, starting with Pluto. So that's not a prediction. That's just like my guess based on the past three eruptions has been when there's a sun square moon aspect is been where we've seen the initiation for some of these eruptions. I'd like to see that pan out, but I wouldn't like to see anybody in danger. We did just have the big Sun, Mercury, Saturn conjunction here in Pisces. And that was a doozy for, I know at least me and one other person with a Pisces moon, that's been a kind of a hard place because that's where our moon, body, emotion, feeling, well-being is. And it's really hard to, this is a very, a conjunction of clearly expressing your limitations, boundaries, and how you communicate. And it's just very, uh, challenging, I'll say, to communicate right now. And I'm getting messages from the earth that are getting messages from the world that are hard to say, hard to communicate. It's hard to talk about things right now, even though we're like definitely going through them and feeling them. I feel like the as Mercury moves into more of an aspect with Neptune instead of Saturn and Sun, we're going to have better expression of our all the things that came up for us recently. But for now, it's just not, it's in the consciousness, it's just not ready to come out. We're getting the messages loud and clear here. And remember, these are all the messages that we ask for from the universe of like, clarify this. Why doesn't this happen? Why will this happen? We're getting all the information about that are the answers to the questions we ask the universe right now. It's just not stuff we want to say out loud yet. Um, let's see. I feel like moving forward, we can look forward to when when Venus makes it into into Pisces. I am excited about that opportunity for collective growth because, who, buddy, just having the sun enclosed by Saturn and Mercury is kind of kicking my butt when it comes to communication and discipline. Um, really don't like to have to communicate about that. We are currently in a Mercury day in a Venus hour. Maybe I should have waited until a Mercury hour to broadcast because I've been liking when I do overlap those day and hours for an election. But at this point with this show, I've just been trying to get myself to do this as a daily discipline rather than trying to beat myself up about having the most perfect election or the best pre-written forecast for it. I'm trying to just get this out there while I can, and I feel like that's doing pretty well considering considering I'm not like struggling with Saturn and Pisces, but I am feeling I'm a Mercury conjunct Sun person. So anywhere a Mercury conzimi takes place, I'm feeling it a lot. And taking place right at Saturn in Pisces point is really loud for me that there are definite there's definite structure I need to work within in order to communicate things effectively. And there's also certain limits to what you can say versus what you can do. Like, you can't just always say what you want to be true or what you think will be true or what you wish would be true. There's a physical reality we're within, and we still have to be able to align our words and our physical material reality for now, while we're on this setting of life. We have to be able to align our words and our material reality. So you can't just say things just because you want them to be true. It is hard to set boundaries though, and boundaries and communicating boundaries are really hard for Piscean people and times of year when we just want to expand and grow and fertilize the ground and really have these like soaking nutritive pre-springtime late winter rains. It's a really hard time to be able to sit and realize like, oh man, I might have another whole month or two of winter before things can come to fruition. We're really at the end of the grind. Like, this is the getting creative in survival part that mirrors the Virgo energy of being creative in survival, of how do we wind down the production season? How do we learn to stop producing? This is really like, how do we learn to keep surviving even though we're like out of all the materials? I mean, you shouldn't be running out of materials every year, but in the rhythm of a year, Pisces is definitely where we're digging deep to try to find more something, reaching to the back of the cupboard to get that like can of like dry beans or something. Like I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is this is time for real creativity, but also not over promising. And it's really hard when you're a dreamer and can visualize things very easily. It's hard to not over promise and over communicate like a Pisces might want to do. Virgo would be negative and critical and not express their ideas to a fault because they know when they're prudent and when they're not prudent. But Pisces is just like, oh my God, I have an idea, so I must be alive. So I got to express the idea. I don't know. Feeling like I'm looking forward to Venus in Pisces season. Number one, because she's like a benefic that is exalted in, is she exalted in Pisces? I forget, but she has a good time in Pisces, and I have a good time when Pisces is, or Venus is in Pisces, but she's still hanging out where we just conjoined Mars back there a few weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to that change. Mars, by the way, making that square to Jupiter still. So we're almost out of that, but I'm just feeling real like nose to the grindstone, other shoes gonna drop kind of energy right now. And we're gonna have to make some careful choices about what we prioritize at the moment. It's just like we're part of the human computer and we're kind of out of RAM sometimes. Okay. I want to go ahead and stop sharing this screen so that we can move on to let's move on to more of a card reading. Okay, I just did this. I just closed that out, but I don't want blue screen coming at me from this angle. So let's go to a easy web page. Yeah, maybe that'll be easy enough. Okay. Postcards from the liminal space. Get a postcard. I'm thinking we're going to do all three today. I think we're going to do all three. So let me wake them all up with. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little longer than others. All right. There's water here. Yeah, something on my lip. Oh, that's on that one. Sorry, I was back. I was like, what? I thought that the other... Okay. All right. That is one card. I think I'm going to read all of these at once. That's one card from the liminal space. We'll shift now into the holographic tarot deck. This is just such a pretty rock. Such a pretty rock. I love this pretty rock. I don't even know if I can get it to show you guys what it can do, but so beautiful. So beautiful. So pretty. Okay. Thank you to all of you who are watching tonight. Thanks for coming back. Welcome you back. If you've been gone, I've been gone for you. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Getting a card to go with this 3-card reading, 3-deck, 3-card reading. Okay. This might turn out all right. And my selenite. I feel like this one's got some fire to give today. I don't even know what that meant, but I just smelled fire when I tapped on it. So I don't know. The others have been a little bit kinder. Maybe this one's going to be sassy today. I don't know. Remember, this is for the 3-card, 3-deck spread. And this is our cosmic weather, like our messages from the universe, from beyond the realm of comprehension that we can see with modern material science or understanding. You know, duh, basic stuff. Obviously, you use cards to figure out things that you don't have the scientific capacity to perceive yet. Duh. Duh. Obvi. Okay. Oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay, so altogether, we have drawn the shapeshifter, the Ace of Swords upright, and my purpose in life is joy. So for the shapeshifter card, that nice. Oh, and I don't know if you guys even ever see this, but this is the back face of this deck. I really like it. The shapeshifter card gives us, all right, steeped in myth, both divine and diabolical, This archetype breaks up stagnation in a story and will further the plot, bringing up issues of trust, fantasy, and consequence. The self as a shapeshifter speaks to a fundamental ability to adapt. Humans are too evolved to be only one thing. Everyone contains within them the possibility of a hero and villain, creator and destroyer, life and death. You have reasons for what you hide, your complex motivations, competing desires, shameful dualities, as does everyone else. Be willing to see others in a light as nuanced as that in which you understand yourself, both a survival mechanism and a respectful acknowledgement of the ever-changing nature of all things. Though understand these pleasantries everyone deeply desires to be known and accepted as they truly are. Though underneath these pleasantries, everyone deeply desires to be known and accepted for who they are. Okay, and then our Ace of Swords, bringing in a new era of thought, word, action, ushering in, let me go to, all right. Taking in the Ace of Swords energy to mean breakthroughs, new ideas, mental clarity, and success. A gleaming hand appearing from a white cloud, representing the intervention of the divine. The Ace of Swords is a sign of triumph, yet jagged mountains are seen in the background. We've got 6 tongues of fire, looks like, or water droplets, depending on the artistic interpretation. Meditate regularly to clear away the mental chatter and make the most of this intellectual potential. You may be on the verge of significant breakthrough or a new way of thinking that allows you to view the world with clear eyes, the shapeshifter. Or you may have a sudden realization or conscious understanding about an issue that has been troubling you, and you can finally see the path ahead of you. See this as a sign of encouragement. It means you're in expansion mode. You are embracing new ideas, craving stimulation. I really see this as great opportunity to shapeshift into the third card that we've got. We're going to figure out how to make this our persona all the time, like the shapeshifter. We got to do that by meditating, though, and I got a clear mind for that. But my purpose in life is joy. The basis for your life is freedom. The purpose of your life is joy. You are free to choose new adventures for joy. You are free to choose new avenues for joy. And in your joyous growth, you will add to the experience of all that is. So this isn't a scary time. This is a time for creative expansion through discipline, through constraint, through boundaries. We're going to shapeshift into the mold that we need to be in right now, and we are going to shape a world in which joy is everyone's destiny. These are 3 really positive cards that have slightly sad-ish, like the moon can have sad or happy connotations, so can a sunflower, so can a sword from the sky. So let's try to look on the bright side of all of the displays of our physical limitations, because that's our material, that's our substance. That's what we're working with here on the planet Earth. We're working with constraints and discipline and substance. So let's figure that out. I love you all so much. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here with me. And until tomorrow's episode, stay safe, stay happy, stay joyful. I love you very much. Goodbye. Goodbye.